Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Monday, baby. We made it through the weekend, and it's Monday. What is the week going to bring? You're looking absolutely amazing. And I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes, as this is video 2. That's it, 2 of 2. Hopefully you saw video 1 earlier. If not, I'll pin it in the pinned comment down below. And all of the videos shown in this video will be placed in the description of this video, so you can go and watch them in their entirety. We're just going to watch enough of them to prove the point that we're trying to push, and that is that there are people around Charlie Kirk who are not behaving right. And I know this is a bit of a room splitter topic, especially when we speak on Erika Kirk. It splits the room. But I think in this video we are going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that some of the things that we are seeing are absolutely performative and not, in fact, strength from God that so many people want to push in the comments. And I know this is going to be uncomfortable for some people to see and to hear, but it's got to be done, because in order to get to the truth of what happened to Charlie Kirk, sometimes we have to look a little closer to home in order to understand the full story. And with that in mind, let's get straight into it, because first of all, we have to a palate cleanser, if you wish. A palate cleanser. We don't want that one, we want this one here. So this guy here is somebody who witnessed Charlie Kirk being shot. He's not a relative, he's not somebody who knows Charlie, he's just somebody who witnessed the horrendous act of Charlie Kirk's assassination. But let's just take a listen. And again, all the videos that I use will be shown in full as a link in the description of this video, and I do say go and watch the entire videos. We're just doing enough to get the point rammed home. So let's listen to this guy here.
From like where we were, I heard one rifle shot, and we're down in this pit, lots of concrete and buildings everywhere. It didn't echo, but it made a unique crack kind of report.
And just know, this is 3 minutes and 49 seconds into his video. So up to this point, he has just been speaking and recounting some of the things of, you know, again, if you want to watch it, you'll see. But we're 3 minutes, 49 seconds in. And up to this point, he was relatively straight. You know, just speaking, it looked like he could have been talking about anything. But this is what happens at this point. And again, he's not a relative, he's not a relation, he wasn't a personal friend. It's just somebody who witnessed what happened.
I had one thought. It was very quick, that maybe it's a joke. Maybe this is a gag. Maybe this is a piece of theater or stagecraft to really like drive home this important topic of gun control that is being debated.
Because obviously some people have thought that, do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, think about what that very last question was that was posed to Charlie Kirk and the topic of that, which is, it's poetic, isn't it? It's poetic that his last question ever placed to him would be on this topic of gun violence, which was a real issue for some in Charlie Kirk's viewpoint surrounding that. And lo and behold, he gets killed during this question. So you can understand where he's coming from. But again, just keep listening and just keep watching.
That thought did not last long. It's like a super physical reaction that I have to thinking about this. Every time I've tried to tell Terry shakes. Trauma's a weird thing. He gets shot just, it looks bad from where we are.
Actual tears. Look, actual tears on both sides of his face. This is a real reaction, not planned, just completely, again, not planned, not controlled, just completely out of the blue. And he spoke there briefly, I don't know whether that skipped, it might be the internet connection, but he's talking about every time he tries to talk about this, if he's talking about it to family, this is the reaction that comes. It just comes from nowhere.
We all hit the ground and we're on top of each other, right? I'm on top of some dude, two other dudes are like have fallen on top of me, and I am waiting for more bullets to start raining down into bodies. I'm ready for the mass shooting part to begin.
So we get the point, but again, what I also want to touch on this is something very important. And I think some other people mentioned it yesterday when we spoke about the security around Charlie and some of the people who were there. Now, this guy hits the nail on the head because his thought process is he's waiting for the next thing. He's waiting for somebody to come over and start just executing people all over the place. But that's not seemingly the reaction that you're getting from the people who are with Charlie himself. It's almost like they know that this is over, that this is done. There's nothing else coming. And again, I think that that's very interesting. That is, I believe this guy's name is Crichton. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird that an individual like this can raise the issue of what his expectation is, but yet those close to Charlie, the trained individuals, if you like, maybe they're trained to understand that there wasn't going to be anything else coming, who knows? But let me know in the comments what you think to that. So this is where we're going to jump over to here quickly. And it gets worse. It's going to get worse. But we'll go to this video and just play a tiny little segment of this.
We're not awkward. We're not like weird.
Cringy.
We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening. What's happening is the team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us.
Yes.
So this was Erika obviously speaking on the Charlie Kirk show after being announced of being the new boss and speaking about how they're going to be continuing. Now what we're going to look at now is this video, which is Nadia for real. Again, the link to this video will be in the description. We're going to play a segment of this just to, again, ram some points home that speaks about what people do when they are truly, truly affected by tragedy and trauma, because there's things that they simply can't control. It doesn't matter how much they have God in their heart or they're being protected by God. There are certain physiological effects when you are affected by and genuinely affected by such tragic loss, such as the public execution of your husband and father to your children. So let's just, again, have a quick look at some of the pieces of this.
Notice the sound. It's a lot. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. If you are a person of faith and you are calling upon God, your source of strength and inspiration to help you, this is something that you're going to do private, right? No person of faith is going to display this, in this super dramatic, all this whispering, that's not authentic. It just is not. Like, that's very performative, and it's trying to show, like, I am a person of faith. I am.
And again, I think she's hitting on a very valid point here. Because what you're trying to think is if you're drawing on strength from God, for instance, you do that off camera where nobody can see. And then you would go out and you would absolutely hide everything. You would hide everything and go out there like a fucking soldier. Do you know what I mean? There wouldn't be any tears, no nothing. You would do all of your crying off camera, ask for God's strength, come out. But what's happening here, in my opinion, is because this is so soon after Charlie has died, she knows that there are going to be questions. So what she's going to try and do throughout this is she's going to try and counteract the questions that she knows are going to come. So that means that this is something that as she goes through this speech, she is thinking about how that part is going to be received and what she has to do in order to overcome the feedback. So this is calculation and manipulation. This isn't just a flowing conversation. This isn't a flowing speech. This is calculated, knowing what is going to be happening. But and again, when you really look at this, it's going to get worse.
Struggling with this, like if you are truly struggling, and this is one thing that you will learn as an actor, a person who is truly struggling is always trying to hide it. That's what we do when we are truly struggling. We try our best to hide it. We don't put it on display. When this is, again, the gesturing, when we gesture to, how we're feeling or, oh my God, and what am I going to, this is all fake. Okay, you guys have to realize this. Like in your regular life, when you are dealing with people in your regular life that do this type of gesturing, just be aware that they are trying to manipulate you, because that's all that is. A person who's truly struggling, you never even can tell because they are trying to hide it so much. So let's just go on. And also, you notice the crackling sound, the background sound is just horrible.
She's talking about the audio in this video, bearing in mind that, TP USA has access to some of the best audio equipment on the market. It's quite strange that the audio in this is seemingly inauthentic. You would think that they would mic her up, so she is absolutely got the best audio on her. It's odd. It's almost like they're trying to mask potential things or to make it look like this was off the cuff. I don't know. There's just something strange when you think that this is quite an important, if not the most important thing that they're going to put out. Charlie Kirk's death, and this is his wife coming out and speaking, and they don't bother micing her up with the best mic that they have access to, or at least clean audio.
Well, and there's no real reason for it. So moving on.
Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice.
I think it's quite interesting that she wants to thank law enforcement, but she can't even get that word out. And it's written in front of her. She stumbles over that word. And I find that if that's in your heart of the people that you want to think or thank, would you not? It's not an uncommon word, is it? It's not. That's bizarre in itself. She doesn't pick up on that, but I picked up on that. I mean, you can't even say enforcement properly.
I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically.
Okay. This, again, is intolerable to me. I'm going to try to keep it together because I told you guys I would, give you all the tells. But this heroically, like that is inauthentic. That is performative. Okay, you don't. Something that she does a lot in this video. She repeats words that she wants to really let you know that she's feeling. And
there's a part of this in a second, and you can't see because this overlays her as well. But behind her is a picture of Donald Trump in a frame. And behind the Donald Trump picture is Charlie's book. So they're covering Charlie's book with a picture of Donald Trump. But yeah, there's some bits in this, what you're going to see. I'm not going to play the whole thing, just enough, where she goes from that kind of to straight back out and like straight as an arrow. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That is, again, a device. A person who is being authentic is just going to say how they feel, and that's it. If they have to say thank you, they will. And it's just surprising to me, and I'll go into it later in this video, but that a person who has just gone through such a traumatic event, right? Not only was he her spouse, but even if he wasn't, let's pretend, being in a crowd and seeing someone get killed, right, in real time is an extremely traumatic event. This is not something that renders most people able to coherently give a 17-minute speech 2 days later.
Which we have just witnessed, obviously, in this video here. What he is displaying here when we was listening to him is exactly what she is talking about here. Exactly, word for word. That is normality. What you saw with him speaking, bearing in mind he wasn't Charlie Kirk's husband, because Charlie Kirk didn't agree with that. When you know, you know. But do you know what I mean? Let's listen.
Most people will be very much like unable even to process simple things because your mind is not working in the same way. Your prefrontal cortex has been shut down, pretty much. It's been compromised because your amygdala is in overdrive. Your amygdala, which is like fight or flight, which are our emotions. The amygdala, when you see something like this, when you experience a sudden and severe trauma, your amygdala lights up. And when that happens, your prefrontal cortex shuts down. Continue.
Save Charles's life. And the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon. I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family.
I want you to notice how she said that because her speech got very matter of fact. Like,
do you also notice, right? She talks. I'm going to skip forward to this bit because she talks about something else in a second. We don't need to listen to that. I'm going to jump forward to here. But protecting a Turning Point USA family, she doesn't speak about her own family or herself. This is all very much speaking on behalf of Turning Point USA. Everything is Turning Point USA. Now, later on, it gets very politically driven in terms of who she thanks with respect of J.D. Vance, etc., etc. But yeah, I just had to skip forward a section because this Nadia does go on a bit about distancing themselves from different things. I didn't find that relevant.
In this very tragic and violent way. Like, I think it goes beyond terrible, but why is she diminishing it? Let's go on.
I want to thank the officers who have protected our Turning Point USA family.
See how matter of fact?
These past 2 days.
So matter of fact.
And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board.
The board.
The COO, Justin Strife.
The COO, the board, this is what you're thinking of? This is what's on your head?
I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show.
What is there to laugh about? I don't understand these reactions. These reactions are not congruent with what just happened. Not for a person who's in shock, not for a person who's in mourning. And I will address what I...
Again, back here, remember? And then we've got hers. And she does touch on this. Nadia touches on this. Now, bearing in mind how many times she has grimaced throughout this entire situation, but not once has she had to wipe an actual tear away from her eyes. Not at all. Not at all. This guy couldn't even get through 3 minutes of his video, which is 13 minutes, without having tears streaming down his face. wife, she's doing this. I think this was 17, 18 minutes. This actual video that she did, around 20 minutes. She's a few minutes in, and she's smiling and gesturing. But let's have a look, because it gets worse.
What you're thinking. I will address this later on. Let's just get through this somehow.
Who helped him broadcast from the studio,
Okay, gesturing. I told you guys, right? And it's right on cue.
Watch very closely here when she takes her hand off the chair. Let's see if we can put it into blow this up. For some reason, when I try and put it onto full screen, it just goes black. Don't understand why it does that. But we'll just have to leave it like that. I don't know why it's doing that.
It's like from this, it's, to me, repulsive. It is perverse what is happening here. So I am trying to keep it together. But this type of gesturing, looking over exactly on cue, on this, like, what is that? Like, what is that? This is so using devices for all this drama, for all this, like, I can't. I get so upset about this. But anyway, let's continue.
this chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did.
Every day.
I want to thank the millions of people who have shown.
Okay, I want you to know.
Fucking, could you have been any more? It's like, he loved. In fact, I'm coming up here for this.
He loved it. Oh, he loved it. He loved it so. I'd like to thank.
Fucking hell, mate. That's so fucking blatant. So blatant.
Notice how quickly she turned, right? Because she's going every day. Like, she's so heartbroken. And immediately, it turns into every day. I want to thank, notice this, I'm going to rewind.
I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their
Let's do it
love
again.
for Charlie.
Notice how quickly she changes her demeanor and the tone of her voice on cue.
What he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown.
He loved what he did.
So, I have to laugh, right? I have to laugh because it's so fucking blatant. It's so fucking blatant. It's unreal. And that's as much of that as I'm going to play. Like I say, the full video of Nadia for real is, the link to that is in the description of this video. But just in that short segment and comparing it to someone who wasn't Charlie's husband, wasn't a relative, just someone who witnessed it, and look at the effect, the expected effect, because you can't control grief. You can't control how your body and your mind is affected by true trauma. When you're feeling true trauma, I'm taking my fucking Spock hairs off. Don't need them on no more, boy. Do you know what I mean? You can't control it. You can't control it. It's beyond your control. But she's very much controlling that situation. She is well in control. This is calculated. This is scripted. And I'd like to know how long this had this been arranged. I don't know. Something feels real off here. Something feels real off. Let me know down below what you think. Yeah, I ain't believing that bullshit for 1 second. Sorry, I just can't. Love you all. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Mwah.